Hello and welcome to Newsroom series, this edition covering Nigeria's Northeast. I am Bukola Koka. And we start with Yobe State, where the governor, Buni, has handed over 100 million naira to the victims of fire incident that destroyed the GSM market in Damaturu, the state capital. Governor Buni, while charging the leadership of the association to ensure fair distribution, also allocated new shops to the victims at the newly commissioned ultramodern market in Damaturu. Over 33 shops were razed by fire at the GSM market in Damaturu, where properties worth millions of naira were destroyed.
It's been a trying couple of days for residents of Bayantasha community in Damaturu, the capital of Yobe State, after an overnight fire incident destroyed properties at the Damaturu GSM market earlier this week. As the victims sought out anything that could be salvaged, the State Emergency Management Agency is on an assessment of the level of damage at the market.
Our concern is to save lives. Unfortunately, there was no loss of lives. But of course, there are 3 shops with properties worth millions of naira were destroyed. And immediately, His Excellency directed that cash support to stimulate, especially the dependents. Of course, for every shop, there is minimum of 5 dependents that eat food and support their families daily from this business that they do.
And in a show of sympathy for the victims, Governor Buni visits the scene, accompanied by other government officials to give them words of comfort.
Gwamnatin jihar Yobe za ta bada naira miliyan 100.
Yobe State government will release 100 million for the victims, and shops will be allocated to you at a new ultra-modern market. As for the burnt-down shops, State Emergency Management and the Ministry of Housing will consider their renovation.
Later, the secretary to the state government, Baba Malam Wali, hands over 100 million naira pledged by the governor to the victims.
About 157 victims were affected during this impound. And His Excellency immediately came, commiserated with the people, and he directed that 100 million naira be given to all the victims of this. And immediately after that, His Excellency now directed us to bring this check of 100 million naira to the victims of the impound.
The governor made a pledge of 100 million naira yesterday, and by today, he has fulfilled the promise.
The victims are encouraged to draw lessons from the incident and take precautionary measures to avoid a recurrence.
The governor of Adamawa State, Umaru Fintiri, has reiterated the commitment of his administration towards the education of the girl child in particular and that of children in the state in general. The governor affirmed the commitment during the unveiling of the 2024 enrollment campaign in Yola, the Adamawa State capital.
Resources are expended in reducing the number of out-of-school children in the country, yet the impact has remained minimal. A significant number of children are still deprived of the fundamental rights to education. This campaign on the enrollment of out-of-school children by the Adamawa State government is designed to unite, strategize, and implement effective measures to bring children back to school. The special guest and Minister of State Education, Dr. Yusuf Sununu, is represented by the Deputy Director of Federal Ministry of Education, Mrs. Joy Onoja.
The idea of enrolling all school-age children in school seems like an uphill task, but I can assure you that with our joint effort, we can overcome this challenge. I am therefore elated that the present administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, through the Federal Ministry of Education, has set a workable pace for this hill to be removed.
We need to win women over. And the best way we can win them over is to get as many numbers as we can in the classroom. If they are convinced that education is good, they will ensure that their children go to school. Even if the man says no, she has a way of making him understand that yes is yes, and it will happen. For as long as we continue to have women who are just begetted for marriage, you come to the world, they prepare you only to get married, then we'll continue to be in a problem where we procreate children who will be on the street.
The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, laments that despite efforts in reducing the number of out-of-school children in the state, more unmarried children are trooping into the state.
Exception of this administration in 2019, Right Honorable Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri has been battling and tackling the issue of out-of-school children, and he is on top of the situation.
Sustained investments in teachers' training, school infrastructure, and the community outreach programs, and holistic approach will play a vital role in creating an environment where every child, regardless of background, can access quality education in the country.
The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Yobe State Command, has confiscated a truck with registration number DKW 516XA Borno, loaded with 450 railway sleepers, as well as arrested 3 suspects in Damaturu, the state capital. The commandant in charge of Yobe, Adamu Zakari, says the railway sleepers worth 5.9 million naira were to be transported to a steel company as scrap metals. The principal suspect claims he bought the metals from a local community along the border between Yobe and Borno states.
A trailer truck with the registration number DKW 516XA Borno was arrested by the men of the anti-vandal unit of the command. The trailer is loaded with 450 pieces of railway sleepers by estimate. The arrest was carried out at Kandahar junction of Damaturu, Yobe State. The prime suspect, one Adamu Abdullahi of Nainawa bypass, Damaturu, 25 years old, and the driver of the truck, Muhammad Haruna, 35 years old. Alongside is Bashir Bako, who is a motor boy. Estimated value of the exhibit at purchasing level is about 3,172,500 naira. The estimated selling cost is about 5,902,000 naira.
The Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Zulum, has described the recent explosion of landmines which killed commuters, security agents and locals across different locations as renewed attempts to frustrate the rebuilding of destroyed communities and resettle IDPs to their ancestral homes. Professor Zulum, who was touring some of the communities in Dikwa, Marte and Ngala local government areas, says his government is working to find the conspirators from within the government and locals for appropriate sanctions.
Explosions along the Maiduguri, Dikwa, Mate, Ngala roads, resulting in the deaths of security personnel, civilian JTF members, humanitarian workers and farmers have been recurrent in the northern part of Borno of recent. Mate is 150 kilometers from Maiduguri, while Ngala is 153 kilometers from the capital. The two local government areas are economically strategic to Borno State and the federal government due to the trans-border commercial activities along the route. Destroyed by years of insurgency, roads leading to these economically viable local government areas have become easy traps for commuters and other users by Boko Haram terrorists who plant explosives on the roads.
Let me use this opportunity to commend you for the hard work.
Visiting and addressing the Army Brigade in New Mate after a landmine explosion involving Army personnel, the governor speaks to journalists on the spate of explosions rocking parts of the state.
We have to be very careful with a view to determining who is doing what. It's mind-boggling. What has been happening in recent time is mind-boggling. I think we have some group of people that don't want to see the end of this crisis. There's a lot of sabotage in what we are doing. Inshallah, we are trying to trace those that are committing these crimes within us. And therefore, I'm calling upon the Nigerian military, the Nigerian army, to work hard and identify the culprits wherever they are. I'm also calling upon our DSS, the paramilitary, to also investigate the remote causes of these mines, unexploded ordnances that have been exploding along our major roads in recent times.
The governor then inspects destroyed communities in Mate with the view to rebuild and resettle IDPs. From there, the governor went to Lugumani community in Ngala local government area, where he resettled 500 households who used to live in IDP camps. He also gave them items to help them settle in.
I advise the people of this community to make better use of the facilities that is being provided to them. I advise them to enroll their children into school. Most especially, I advise them to utilize and maintain this very beautiful edifice. Government of Borno State will not relent in its effort providing basic amenities to its citizens. And inshallah, government will resuscitate the moribund irrigation scheme that is in existence in this ancient community.
Governor Zulum assures that his administration will not only resettle the IDPs, but will also provide agricultural facilities to boost irrigation farming and other agricultural value chain activities.
And still to come on the program, a mother of two in Bauchi State who is alleging rape by an immigration officer seeks justice. We'll bring you details of this and more after this time out. Join us again. Welcome back. Lubabatu Yusuf, a mother of two in Bauchi State, is seeking justice for an alleged rape by an immigration officer. She claims that the crime was committed in front of her children. Meanwhile, her husband is also facing police charges for criminal allegations which was filed by the alleged offender. The police say the cases are being investigated. Our correspondent Hajara Aliu reports.
This couple relocated to Bauchi from Kaduna in the hope to start life afresh after experiencing significant loss and accumulating heavy debts. They claim to have been swindled by a deputy superintendent of the Nigerian Immigration Service in Bauchi. According to the couple, the officer convinced them to move to Bauchi and promised to help them start life anew. However, they allege that he continues to exert control over their lives and manipulate them by making supernatural claims.
I have sold my clothes and shoes several times and gave him the money. According to him, he takes it to his spiritual mother.
The situation would later take a disturbing turn as the wife is accusing the officer of rape.
Whenever he comes to the house, he tells my husband to excuse us because the spiritual mother wants to speak to me alone. He makes me sniff on something and I become unconscious. I only become aware of what has happened to me after he leaves. On the 9th of December, he came to the house in the afternoon and raped me in front of my children. Their yelling attracted my husband's attention, who rushed in and met him on top of me.
Last December, the couple filed an official complaint to the police. However, that has not yielded any result. A human rights organization is not happy with the status of the petition before the Nigeria police in Bauchi.
Lubabatu Yusuf, a mother of two children, has been raped. She has been raped based on the information we received. This petition has been lying in the office of the Commissioner of Police, Bauchi Command, for almost 3 weeks now without investigation.
In a surprising twist, the husband was arrested by the police and detained for 11 days following a petition filed by the alleged offender for defamation and alleged kidnapping.
They came and the investigation is still ongoing. After the conclusion of the investigation, the outcome of the investigation will be made public. In the petition, while she alleged that her husband, Yusuf Samaila, was under detention. Yusuf Samaila was being charged to court. There is an allegation against him bordering on criminal defamation, criminal intimidation, and offense being bordering on aiding and abetting of offenses, to wit kidnapping.
While the police is still investigating the two cases, the human rights group is calling for a thorough investigation and justice for the victims. Hajara Aliyu, Channels Television News.
The Taraba state government says it will not relent in investing in science and technology to transform the technological landscape of the state by cultivating potential in students, thereby contributing to the nation's development. The State Commissioner for Science and Technology, Muslim Arua, stated this while briefing journalists to allay the fears of parents on alleged total departure of public schools from practical science skills in the education sector in the state.
The administration of Governor Agbu Kefas has made education a top priority since assumption of office. Education in primary and secondary schools is free and compulsory, while the state government has paid the WAEC fees for SS3 students. Remodeling public schools is also a priority for the state government, while the tuition fees of the state varsity is slashed by 50%. However, science and technology education in public schools in Taraba State is suffering due to inadequate facility to teach the subjects.
I want the principal to help us to take us even once in a week to the lab if there is lab. I want us to take us even once in a week or month so that we should learn something there that we have to know in our science teaching.
We did not have laboratory, but if we are about teaching the student the things that pertain the laboratory, we do go to nearby school like this Radai or Accra to look for some materials that we are going to teach the student to their better understanding, so that they will be able to compete with their fellow when they leave this school.
This institution is a public school where we used to go around to discuss for some of these things from the neighboring sister schools. Anytime we want to have examination, we go around and we run helter-skelter looking for where to lay hands on some of the equipments. So I think it is going to be a good development if the state government will take a look at what we have in the private schools. It's not only restricted to Sali Udogo. Other schools may have similar challenges because we've been talking to each other. We've been running helter-skelter looking for where to get some of the science equipment.
Aware of the challenge, the state government is planning to introduce junior engineers, technicians and scientists forum to avail students with requisite skills to provide solutions to contemporary problems.
To introduce young people to various techniques and practice of science and engineering. 2, to equip young minds with a broad range of engineering and science-related skills that will be essential in the future. 3, to teach young minds to acquire practical skills that will be instrumental to future employers.
The state government is assuring parents and students that all hands are on deck to ensure that science and technology education takes its rightful position in the education structure of the state.
Jonah Alkali from Bangunji district of Shongom local government area of Gombe State is attempting to break the record for the world's tallest packaged food tower of 3.37 meters held by Heinz Africa and Middle East FTZ and Majid Al Futam, both in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. A graduate of fisheries technology, Jonah is doing a master's degree on social work at the University of Georgia, Athens, USA. His attempt to surpass 3.37 meters world record by stacking 5 to 8 meters of packaged food failed when high temperatures hit the food packs, making them flaccid.
Bangunji residents in Gombe State hold their breath as their son, Jonah Alkali, challenges the Guinness World Record's tallest packaged food tower set by Heinz in Dubai in 2019.
For the attempt, 19 women cooked, which was served in 4,000 packs. Alkali's challenge was to stack these up to 5 meters. But his attempt hit a brick wall when the containers became soft due to the heat. Alkali then proceeds to distribute the packaged foods to over 3,000 school children, promising to make a comeback within the year grace period granted by the Guinness World Record for a retry.
Personally, I have an interest in community development. Some years ago, while I was studying back in Borno State during the Boko Haram incidents, I saw how a lot of people were suffering in refugees camp without food to eat, and the living condition was just another thing to me. So at that time, 2016, I developed interest that I want to come up with an initiative where I can proffer solution to food and malnutrition insecurity.
Despite not attaining the set target, Jonah is seen as a hero for attempting to place the little-known village of Bangunji on the map.
We'll put Nigeria in the global spot and expose the kind of good that is beginning to happen among our youth. Since you see our youth taking on such international challenges, you know that they are well exposed, they have received good training.
The primary goal is to create awareness of the need for food security in Nigeria, and especially to be able to feed these young ones who are also the leaders of tomorrow. And of course, whether or not we achieve it today, we'll be able to achieve feeding these people, that are here.
His efforts did not go to waste as the children enjoy the food and dance to celebrate Jonah's heroics. The principal sees him as a model for them.
But Comrade Jonah, since he has his community in his heart, he has to do it, and he is leaving a legacy. By God's grace, the children and the students we are raising, they will go along and walk in his footsteps.
And now, Jonah Alkali joins us from Gombe State to tell us more about his feat, all the same. Glad to have you join us, Jonah.
Hello, thank you very much.
Yes, good afternoon. And congratulations will still be in order, going by what we see there. The children and indeed the entire community are happy with what you have been able to achieve. So congratulations will be in order. But let's start by asking you how you felt when you realized that your effort was failing and you were unable to achieve that feat, and how you're managing it even now.
As a matter of fact, at the very point I discovered that there's going to be a failure when the heat begins to increase, both from the surrounding environment, I was deeply crying inside of me because I knew that my target was not going to be achieved. I felt so bad deep within me. I felt so discouraged. I felt so disappointed. At some point, tears began to drop out of my eyes because I could see the number of people out there waiting to see what we're going to achieve today. But I don't have to show it out for people to see. And then I just took this bold step to tell myself that I can come back and it's possible.
Jonah, you've still put Gombe State on the world map all the same. But upon reflection, what did you think you failed to do to prepare you well for the stacking of the food to achieve that, is it 3.35 meters high food tower? What do you think you failed to do?
So the just single challenge was the path. Actually, I needed to get a rigid path that are very strong, which can be able to absorb pressure from a very high state. So as we are going up, the pressure coming down begin to increase, and the bottom or the base part begin to exert such pressure. So if I had gotten a rigid container or a metallic container that can be able to absorb no matter what pressure, it would have been successful.
So, Jonah, in the future, maybe next year, because reports say that you're attempting this feat again, you're going to make a second try. Are you going to attempt this particular food stacking feat, or you're going to try something else?
It's same title, I'm going for it. Not next year, not in the next 6 months. I am thinking towards just 4 weeks, because I know the challenge already, and I know what the problem is. And as it stands now, I have already, immediately yesterday, I've already obtained 200 kilograms of rice and 100 kilograms of beans. And I'm looking forward to see how I can generate funding to go and get rigid containers that I know that it can be able to sustain such a pressure. So I don't want to take chances. I don't want to waste time. This exact title, this same title, I'm going for it the soonest.
Well, we admire your resolve and your determination to beat the world record, and we wish you all the best as you make a second attempt. Jonah Alkali, the man who attempted the world's food tallest tower in Gombe State, but failed, but says he's going to try again. Thank you for your time, and you have our best wishes in future endeavor.
Thank you so much.
And that's it on the program for today, and indeed for the week. Join us again, same time next week, when we'll bring you another round of editions covering different parts of the country. I am Bukola Koka. Bye for now.